All right, ladies and gents, I just wanted to get you started with a brief introduction as to what we're going to be talking about, focusing on these three essential questions. All right, so as we go through and you read your articles, watch the videos, and respond to discussion posts, and ultimately complete your assignment, keep these three questions in mind. One, how are emotions quantified? How do we know you're having an emotion, or what's the difference between fear and love and anger, happiness, joy, all that stuff? The second question, on what level do early theories on emotion, those by William James and Karl Lang, interact with more current theories? And you'll see a current theory in the short video clip from the movie that I post on there, which is What the Bleep Do We Know? And finally, what I want you to think about is this, and this is probably the most critical question. Can emotion and physiological response be separated, or are they one and the same? Meaning, can you have an emotional response of fear, but not have an increased heart rate, increased blood flow, of fight or flight mechanism elicited? So keep those three things in mind. Now I want to give you an overview of the two gentlemen we're going to talk about, and just an important term. Okay, we're going to be talking a lot about physiology, and I know that we've spoken about this before, but physiology, very simply, is the science and function of living things, how they interact, how your body interacts within itself. Okay, for our purposes now, what you're going to look at is this: how do your brain chemicals interact with our bodies? Or what are the causes for the physical reactions that we associate with emotions? So when you're fearful, why does your heart rate increase? Why does your blood flow differently? What happens during those situations? Okay, so when you read physiology, you're looking at physical responses within ourselves, okay, and how those things function and interact with each other. The first gentleman to talk about is this guy right here, William James, the father of modern psychology. He was an American born in New York, grew up and really came to fame in the late 1800s. Was a philosopher, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, someone who had multiple theories. Now, when he talked about emotion, and his was widely accepted for a while, his theory looked at emotion through scientific understanding, meaning you needed to quantify the emotions. And ultimately, he tried to separate emotion from physical responses. But he did argue that responses to these emotions needed to be studied. So he has a lot of weight in early theories, along with this guy right here. Okay, it was kind of his de facto partner, mainly because they're doing research at a similar time. Karl Lang is Danish, and he's looking at emotions at the same time that William James is. Although Lang buys into a theory that he really can't prove, and that's one about neuroregulation, meaning that the body regulates itself, its brain chemicals, all that stuff, depending on the emotion. He also argues from time to time that a physical response constitutes an emotion, or is defined by an emotion. So you know you're experiencing fear when your heart rate increases and the blood flows differently, and things like that. Okay, so those are the two individuals that we'll really look at: Karl Lang and. All right, now as we wrap this up and look forward, you also need to consider, okay, where are we now in relation to these emotional theories? So these guys presented their theories and did their research, 160 years ago. What advances have we had, and how do those theories and theorists interact with the science that's available today? It's a very different world. The theories are pretty close. Now remember, in your discussions, half of you are going to read the William James article and respond to that on the board. Half of you are going to read the article by Wassman on Lang and respond to that on the board. Half of you will watch episode 2 of This Emotional Life. Half of you will watch episode 3 of This Emotional Life and respond to those things on the board. I'd like everybody to respond to the video that's posted. It's about a 7-minute clip from the video. So please don't respond to both articles. You're only going to respond to one. Make sure that you cross over and pose a question for the opposite side by Wednesday of this week. And again, if you have any questions, please contact me, and we'll work them out. All right. Thank you.